sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take a family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this January the 9th. And we have had some weather changes and things along that line, but most of all, this is the youth deer hunt weekend today and tomorrow. And that'll be it. It'll be adios for the 2021 deer season. So that's the day and tomorrow. I hope you young deer hunters out there have, along with your 21 years old or older companion, will have a successful hunt. We're going to have a great weekend. And I'm looking forward to hearing some stories. And also at the same time, I'm looking forward to having some photographs sent to us for LROutdoors.com. And if anybody knows about LROutdoors.com, it's the man himself who supplies us with so many good photographs wherever he goes. And you know him. He catches the same fish every day at the same lake in Mississippi. He makes a picture of it on Facebook. It looks like...
Hey, that takes a lot of talent to catch the same fish.
Yeah, you and Wayne are hooked at the hip, I think, right? I mean, you guys...
Oh, yeah. Good friends.
And this is our Ron Wong. You know that voice. I mean, golly, he and I...
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, there we go. Now we can talk and get rolling with Ron. Well, Ron will be on with me today as his co-host, and, of course, he'll be back in a couple of weeks, and... you know, when Ron's on, we're going to talk a little bit of fishing. Normally talk a lot of fishing. You think, well, January 9th, you're surely not going to talk fishing. Yes, we are. Because we got...
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yes,
yeah.
We have got... in fact, we have we got 3 segments on fishing. So hang in there. 3 on fishing, 2 on deer. And so this is going to be a fun show as we look at it. We had some cold rain come through on Thursday, and I know the weather changed. I'm not going to talk about my deer season until next week's show, because I'm going to finalize it with an expert besides myself and see what happened. But I will say this, for you folks out there, through January the 7th, 156,110 deer had been killed in Tennessee. Wow.
I wish one of those was yours.
I know it. Well, it's just we'll talk about that next week. Let's talk let's talk fishing, Ron, because I know that wintertime. This is I know Billy Doyle always talked about catching big bass in the winter, and I think for a long time that the records fish, the size fish, were coming out in January, February, and that includes trout, which we will talk about later today.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit to our listeners out there as we start today's show.
Well, unbelievably, although we've had all this cold weather and everything else, and, the weather's been up and down, we'll have some days in the 50s.
Yeah.
But the water temperature, surprisingly,
what?
The surface temperature in our area,
what is it?
The Mid-South area, is going to be in the high 40s.
Really?
47 to 49,
Wow.
maybe 50 on the warmer days on the surface.
Okay.
So they hadn't fallen that much. And surprisingly, the fish are still fairly shallow. They think they're still in a fall pattern
Okay.
wherever you go.
All right.
I can tell you this past Wednesday
Uh-huh.
or Tuesday, I don't remember what day because
All
I
right.
went fishing both days.
Yeah.
But we were catching fish that we saw blowing up on shad.
Come on.
And we were catching them on a little swim bait,
Yeah.
just running it below the shad, and the crazy fish thought they were a shad, so they'd eat it. But that is almost anywhere you go, any small lakes, your residential area lakes, your private lakes
Yeah.
that aren't, 50, 60 acres, the fish aren't going to be real deep. Maybe the
Okay.
deepest is at 8 feet. And this is because that's probably where I think the thermocline is.
Uh-huh.
And I know that they're catching a tremendous amount of good crappie in Sardis, Enid, Grenada. And the thing there is they're fishing the mouths of creeks
Well, they are.
into the main lake because that's all you can fish right now
Okay.
because the water is so low. But the key to fishing there in any of the I-55 lakes there for crappie is fish over deeper water. I'm talking about anywhere from 10 to 15, 18 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But fish your baits 5 to 8 feet deep at the most.
Oh, okay.
And the reason is because the water is very stained. And the crappie and even bass won't eat in that dirtier water. They'll be in the upper water part of the water column. And so you want to use things, it's good to tip your baits with minnows so it gives it a little bit of action, gives it a little bit of smell. But they're catching really a lot of good crappie. Up at Reelfoot Lake, you can get around the deeper water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking deeper there, 5 to 8 feet.
Yeah, 5 to 8 feet.
Stumps.
Uh-huh.
They are catching some really good crappie there right now. My buddy Steve Coleman has been catching a limit every day here, and they're doing really, really good. The bass aren't real deep anywhere. Pickwick, they're still on secondary points on shaky heads or swim baits.
Yeah.
And Ned rigs fishing slow. The water there is about 45, 46 degrees. So,
well,
the fishing is good.
Well, you just mentioned Pickwick, and I got to tell you, Ron, I got a report at midweek that the sauger fishing has been really good this past week because you just mentioned that water temperature 45 degrees or so. There's nothing better. I know crappie is great, but sauger is a wonderful fish to eat, and a lot of people just don't want to get out in the cold and endure it.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you something. Excellent fish to eat, fun to catch, but I will say this.
What?
If you go out to sauger fish, it'll be in the river below Pickwick Dam.
Yes, it will.
Please, please, please wear a life vest the whole time you're in a boat.
Yeah, you got to, and be prepared for the weather because I know the first time I ever went up there, I was a novice, and someone didn't tell me that I shouldn't wear my ski mask, and I was in my seat frozen to death. I looked around, and this gentleman who goes by the name of Dave Harbin was sitting there with a ski mask on, and I know he was smiling because I was freezing to death. So sauger fishing, folks, check it out on Pickwick Lake, on the river, on the Tennessee River there, and Ron was...
Not real hard to catch. You can catch them on minnows with a 1 ounce jig head.
1 ounce jig head, yeah.
Or you can use a 1 ounce jig head and a swim bait.
Yep.
And so it's not hard to do, and they're fun to catch.
Aren't they
And
good
they
eating?
do eat good.
They do eat, and we talk eating a lot on this show. I know that. So there's your fishing from the man who knows him better than anybody that I know, and I know he doesn't have a single note in front of him. He just knows this off the top of his head. but Ron has set up a couple of real interesting interviews for today's show that I'm looking forward to. There is a new professional bass fishing league that's coming up and it's going to start here in mid-March, and we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk a little crappie fishing with a guy who's also going to fish in this league. It's very interesting. I think you're going to enjoy that segment. And then don't forget, this week the TWRA is restocking trout in our area.
Oh, boy.
On the 12th and 14th, if I'm not mistaken, Cameron Brown Parker Allen, this is their second stocking. And so over in Arkansas, they have a wonderful trout fishing program for some of their city lakes. And we're going to talk to a gentleman who started that program. And then we'll talk a little bit about CWD, what's going on with the chronic wasting disease as we close out the deer season this weekend in Tennessee. And then, yes, the National Bird Dog Championship is coming to Ames Plantation on February the 8th. And we're going to talk to Rick Carlisle from Ames Plantation. There will be some changes due to COVID this year. So stick around for that last segment. I'm going to make Ron stick around. Of course, Shelby McCall is...
I'm going to be around. And by the way, Larry, just a note.
What?
For all of you that were planning to go to the Bassmaster Classic
yes.
In March.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be in March now, but it will now be June 10th, 11th, and 12th in that area there. Same place, Fort Worth, Texas.
You heard it here.
They've moved it out that far. Hopefully things will calm down by then.
Well, we hope so, Ron, and I hope everything does too. Let's take a break. Come right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.